implemented the system, I always get this answer of fraud, which is really perplexing to me.
Yeah.
And then when I've tried to ask, okay, so that would make sense. Like, what percentage of fraud are you getting? Like, how much is that costing you? I never get an answer because I don't think the research has really been done. And so, to your point about experimentation, like releasing or testing an untested technology on a vulnerable population based on a hunch that there's fraud going on is to me is an egregious violation of consent.
I think we agree here. My question on that would be just to follow on that one, because that's super interesting. Is that how would you? I'm sure you tried that. So I'm asking because I would just want to put two things together: the work you've done prior to Italy and in Italy specifically. So how would you define these different forms of identity, and why do you think they are important? I mean, what are those identities that we can think of in the quantified, digitized spaces?
I think, let's put it this way. Platform designers, like, we can learn from mistakes that Facebook has been making, which is when you design a platform, it's not just for commerce, it's not just for to surveil everyone and gather the data and for advertisers and all that stuff. The platform designers, which are scaled to the billions, to the tune of billions of users, are sort of creating a social environment where people are interacting with each other. Almost like a mini like town or a government or let's stick to the town sort of metaphor. And so a town, which is an infrastructure for people to sort of interact in. Here's like the main street. I'm thinking in America, here's the main street where there's shops, and then here is the town hall where people gather, you know what I mean? And in this place where people gather, if you believe in freedom of association, you don't necessarily want to know everyone's identity as they walk into this town, square or whatever it is, because, as we know, privacy is fundamental to association. The freedom of association and privacy, and when it comes time for election and you have these ballot boxes in this town, you also don't want to know people's identity as they go to the ballot box, right? Because we know that privacy is essential to the fundamental right of political participation. Now commercial entities, where their mistake has been is they didn't understand that that's what they were doing. Like, they didn't understand that they were creating these infrastructures of social behavior and interaction which exceeded their commercial interests. You know what I mean? But now, Facebook is really trying, like, that's what everyone's mad about, because it's like, hey, actually, we're using Facebook to do all these other things which are fundamental to our, like, rights, but we're in this matrix which is not which is promoting hate speech or whatever, and so just to close out this metaphor, knowing that your users might be using like the platform for a town hall type situation, that is where you do not need someone's ID. Right? You don't need to identify them. In fact, if there was a way to provide a protected space for non-identification, that would be a good thing. I mean, of course, you'll have government saying, well, we need to know certain things because just in case there's like a quote-unquote terrorist that like hanging out there, or, for public safety and all that kind of stuff. You have the financial institutions saying, well, we need to know your customers, so if there's any interaction going on there that has any financial implications, we're going to need to know identity. Yeah, maybe, But again, I think thinking through, how these designed spaces